I'm Scott, and this is episode 3 of What Makes This Map Great. In this series, we take a deep dive into some classic games that hold a special place in my gaming heart. We're going to explore their amazing level design, beautiful art, their creative combat encounters, as well as uncover their hidden secrets and see just how much they've influenced the gaming world. And in this episode, we're covering Quake E1M3, the Necropolis. All sources used for this video will be linked down in the description below. Like, sub, do all the YouTube stuff. It's greatly appreciated. Let's get into it. The Necropolis is the third level in episode 1, Dimension of the Doomed, for Quake. And you know it's a banger, considering that it is featured in the first gameplay demo the moment you load up Quake for the first time, backed by the amazing theme song for the game. To give some context for this point of the player experience in the game so far, they've traveled from a military tech base where mindless grunts guarded the slip gate, a machine capable of dimensional travel. The player steps through and they find themselves at a castle. And while they meet some crazy monsters in that damn castle, fighting their way through and learning some new level exploration skills, the player eventually makes it to the exit, which takes you to an even worse place, the Necropolis, which takes the player underground through a series of catacombs. It's a dark, wet, and creepy place. You run into some familiar monsters, but are also introduced to a couple of new ones that challenge the player in new ways in regards to the combat experience. But our level designer, good old Tim Willits, he does his best to prepare you for the things to come. Not only will you get to experience some amazing verticality and layering in this level, you'll also be given a new tool that will help immensely. After all, this is just the third level of Quake, and there are worse places to come, believe it or not. Let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right in. Upon entering this map, you are greeted by dark ambient lighting in what appears to be a wet, mossy underground cavern. The torches here create pools of light, and it brings the player's attention to this large, mossy stone archway. It's really the only way forward, and you're encouraged to move through it with a brand new weapon, the grenade launcher. Those damn ogres aren't the only ones with this fun weapon. You've also been introduced to a grouping of zombies, which just invites you to fire your new gun. And you're just showered with jibs. It's amazing. This dopamine hit instantly teaches you that explosives destroy zombies for good. Should you, for some odd reason, switch weapons and decide not to use your grenade launcher, well, you learn that while zombies go down, they don't die completely, as they come back to life. And the only real way to kill them is with explosives. I think what's really gross is how they just grab chunks of their bodies and huck them at you. It's disgusting, but so creative in terms of animations. Before we move into the next combat encounter, let's take a moment to admire this space and what it provides for the player experience. The architecture created here is just stunning. That initial archway room introduces us to a new texture set. Mossy stone bricks with natural mossy earth. It really sells the idea that we are deep underground. No skylights above us showing off cool parallaxing clouds like in the prior map, Castle of the Damned. Once you walk through the archway, the L-shaped hallway shows that this space is partially constructed into the Underearth. The following room shows off what appears to be an ogre in a cage, or maybe it's a defensive point for this ogre, making it hard to get a good shot on it through the bar gaps. Either way, it's a dangerous encounter, with this ogre tossing nades at you through the bars. And to make matters worse, there's another ogre that waits for you in ambush around this corner. So you now have 2 ogres to deal with, but thankfully, one is caged, so you won't have to worry about 2 chainsaws tearing you up. And just to replay this, if you take your time here, before moving forward, you could hear the other ogre's sound cues around the corner. For those who are perceptive enough, they might know it's coming. If not, there's a trigger here that wakes them up, and then you can just deal with it. Audio cues are always a great way to tell what's coming up in regards to combat encounters. Let's deal with this ogre. Ow. And lastly, while this demonstration is being played on normal mode, hard mode has you face off against 2 fiends. Yeah, those leaping creatures with all claws and teeth. It's good times, really. Alright, so once this space is cleared of threats, you're given 2 options, left or right. For this video, I'm going to take left. It offers the best flow through this map. Got these rockets. Rocket ammo is used for grenade launchers as well. So this room has a cool trap setup. You are provided the nail gun, a staple weapon in Quake, but once you pick it up, you also activate a crushing trap. This room has some crazy scale in regards to its verticality. Upon picking up the nail gun, you activate the trap, the doors shut with rusted bars, and you have this blinking button. And if you don't do anything, well, you get crushed to death. But yeah, we've learned this lesson before, that blinking red buttons can be hit either with weapons or melee. This opens a trapdoor leading down into safety away from this trap. Tim just wanted to make the player sweat a little. The following hallway provides a nice contrast to the open spaces prior. It's tight and constricted. You've got some ammo pickups and some health to invite you along the way. On hard mode, this hallway even has a monster closet trap, revealing a few more zombies. This reinforces an earlier lesson. Grenades destroy zombies for good. Now, this next area is jaw-dropping amazing. Tim really flexes the Quake engine's capabilities here. Let's take a moment to go over its many features. You transition from a claustrophobic hallway into a vast open cavern. Mossy stonework holds up a small network of bridges which overlook an underground lake down below it. The lighting continues to be dark and moody, with torches providing pools of light to show you the way, leading you to a well-lit set of large double doors adorned by dragon serpents. And a gold key is needed, which can be seen down below, inviting the player to take a dive down into the water. The sound of bugs and insects fill this space, as well as the sound of idling monsters nearby. Beautiful environment work here. Love the combination of natural earth with man-made structures in this underground cavern, with a lake at the bottom of it. Now here we encounter a new enemy type. This is the Scrag, or also known as the Wizard. Who knows what kind of dark wizardly magic these creatures have committed their lives to. Maybe they used to be human, now corrupted and reshaped by dark magics into these flying acid-spitting abjurations. They go down pretty easily. It's just a matter of dodging their acid-spit projectiles while hitting them with your weapons as they fly and dodge your attacks through the open air. Another cool showcase of a true 3D engine, seeing them fly around into space. The ogre here also adds an element of surprise and a layer to the combat, because you're having to dodge grenades all while dodging the Scrag's acid attacks. This area is also kind of a dangerous space to fight in, with these ledges that the player could potentially fall down. I've made that mistake several times when I was brand new to Quake back in the day. Oh, one more Scrag. That was cool, watching him fall down into the bottom level. And again, this is a normal difficulty playthrough. On hard, these bridges are where we encounter one of the worst enemies in the entire monster roster, the Shambler. And it's not just one, but two, with the second teleporting in shortly after defeating the first. What a nasty setup, Tim. Anyways, we overcome this combat encounter on the bridges and approach the golden doors. You need the gold key. Upon looking down over the edge, you can see the gold key below you in the water. There's only one thing really left to do here, and that's jump. The verticality at this moment is such a cool experience, as you are now looking up at these giant mossy brick structures overhead where you just were, surrounded by water. It's just you and the gold key. So you think. Upon picking up the key, you trigger a trap. This is cool, and it's such a creepy experience. These zombies, they're moaning in protest as they rise up from their watery graves and proceed to throw chunks of flesh and brains at you. And hopefully you saved enough grenade ammo, because the grenade launcher makes quick work of them. This is also where I'll show where an easy to miss secret is for this level. Notice the misaligned cavern texture here. This actually leads us to a deeper end of the pool that allows you to sink under. And when you swim through, you found a secret. It leads you to the Ring of Invisibility, which isn't full invisibility. As you can see in our character portrait down below, your eyes are still visible. In first person, you don't notice it, and the monsters definitely don't notice you. As we proceed down this hall, and they don't see me. So yeah, normally the Ring of Invisibility would allow you to have the jump on the monsters that are coming up in this hall, but let's slow things down just one more time. This lake area is finished. We explored this space, and to find the way forward, Tim has placed this torchlight, which should grab the player's attention, and you notice this entryway. And again, we have this contrasting experience of an open, vast space into a tight, narrow hallway. It is filled with undead zombies, and the way the lighting is set here to backlight them and only show their silhouettes is like chef's kiss. Quake engine flexing here. The lighting is dramatic and really makes these zombies look so creepy. Using the grenade launcher, not only does it jib them in a shower of explosions and particles, but you also notice the dynamic lighting lighting up this space. Beautiful. So we continue through and find ourselves in this elevator room, which has some really interesting geometric detail that could not be seen in any prior 2.5D shooter. Now, this next area kind of shows off some of the layering capabilities of this engine. And not only do we have these stairs overlapping the space below, but even this narrow hallway before we enter the next space. As we peek around, there's zombies down below. They can't hit you. You've got this tight, narrow bridge. And on top of that, if you listen closely, you can hear the sound of an ogre nearby, dragging its chainsaw. So here you can use grenades to toss below. Watch out for the explosions. And turning this corner, we catch the ogre by surprise. Lucky us. And we've got a double barrel shotgun. Now, here's where another secret in the game is. We're gonna backtrack just a little bit down under where these zombies were. We hop down, and observant eyes will notice that with all these mossy stone bricks, there's one wall here that is different. On hitting it, you discover a secret. Now that we're down here, we're actually kind of stuck. We can't really get back on this bridge, but there is a way forward. It's lit with torches, and we find ourselves at another elevator. And when we take that elevator, we find ourselves in a familiar space. It's that caged ogre room at the beginning of the level. So once again, the map is layered, it's overlapping itself, and it's circling you back to spaces that you had already been to before. And to spice things up, we even have a monster that came out of a monster closet. So that way you're not just backtracking through empty spaces. So yeah, that was really neat. And I forgot to mention, but there's a floor button. Upon stepping on it, raises the bars and lets you out. So from here, we're just going to do a little backtracking because we have the gold key and now we can open the gold door. So alright, so at this point I'd say we're about halfway through the map. Let's open the door and move forward. This space feels like another transition, almost like we're moving from this muddy necropolis to a more structured part of this crypt. We are greeted by another scrag. Okay, so this upcoming hallway has a nasty trap setup that I fell victim to the first time I played Quake. Each level since E1M3 so far has introduced a trap variant. This one is a trigger-based trap, similar to the small nail trap in the prior map. Only difference though is this one's a giant spike that flies through the air, and if you're not aware, it will take you out. you get squished. Now there are some clues here for the player to notice. One is you have this weird contraption on the wall. We haven't really seen anything like this throughout the level. It's new. And when you trigger the trap, this light turns on, sounds go off, machinery's working behind the walls, and these are all signals for you to move out of the way. It's a tricky little trap. It's kind of a fun one. I enjoyed dying to it. Kind of. Anyhow, the trap also opens up another trap door at the end of this hall here, and it invites you to drop down in the water. And again, we are greeted with zombies rising up from this muddy water. This hallway here is just so moody. It's creepy. Got this silhouetted zombie up ahead, and the space lights up as you toss grenades at these upcoming zombies. And they're right around the corner too, so if you're not careful and you shoot a grenade up close, you take some damage. So you're learning some lessons here as well, I would say. So we'll follow the left wall here, because we like to explore all the spaces, and we are treated to some health pickups and ammo, as well as some more grenade ammo. Again, some layering going on in this level. You could drop back down here, even backtrack if you wanted to pick up some more leftover ammo earlier in the level, or drop back down in the water and circle back to where you were. Okay, so there's only one way to go to progress, and it's down these halls here. Now, this combat encounter up ahead is one of my favorites, as it could potentially turn nasty if the player isn't careful. Let's analyze this next space. As you move up this sloping ramp, you find yourself inside another mossy stone crypt-like room. There are ominous demon reliefs on the side walls, and the stairs leading up to this double door are framed quite nicely. This space is also multi-leveled, with the second level being above and behind the player as they enter it. Now, this setup is a bit mean, as there is an ogre up top here that spots you as you enter. Soon, you're having to avoid bouncing grenades from it. On hard mode, there are two, including a third on the ground level, where you come up the slope. That slope is dangerous, as the nades tend to bounce down in this direction. A good strategy, really, is to hug this back wall underneath the ogres above to avoid getting naded. And at this point, the player will probably notice the small metal ledges along the wall here, providing a way for you to jump up to that top level with the ogre. And here's where you can even cheese the ogre. On one of these lower jumping perches. You can take shots from here, and the ogre can't really do anything about it. So now that the ogre's been dealt with, once defeated, this platform is safe, and you can now press this button. But this button, really, all it does is open up these crypts on the sides. And this is a fun little encounter because you're in a safe space. Really, Tim just wanted to provide this setup for you to lob grenades down. Now once cleared, you can access these crypts, you can find some ammo, health, just additional ways to top off before our next upcoming encounter. Okay, once this room's cleared, you can now approach these stairs through the double doors, and this next hall is essentially the leveled up difficulty version of this prior room. We now have two platforms above, both with ogres shooting grenades down at you, and at the end of the hall are some zombies. I think the most natural reaction for players here is to backtrack. Just get out of this shower of grenades and use this corner to take nade shots at the zombies down the hall first. Now, once the zombies are dead, then you can try and take care of these ogres on your own. Oh, one more zombie. You'll also notice there's a yellow armor here, and it is barred off, and the way to access it is to actually deal with these ogres. Some players will choose to skip this encounter because maybe they're low on ammo. They don't want to deal with the ogres up on the platform. They can't come down at you, so you could just ignore them. But if you choose to defeat the ogres, it removes the bars and gives you access to the yellow armor. Now, you may have also noticed there's some ammo up on the platforms up top. Well, if you've been paying attention, secrets are usually hidden behind unusual textures, right? And here we have mossy stone, but then there's a wall here that's just normal stone bricks. On hitting it, we're given access to a teleporter. And if you're not careful, you'll fall down and miss out on those rockets. So we'll try again. It's generally a quick jump right after the teleport, like so. Alright, now we have the finale of the level, and we have a pretty cool lead up to it. Continuing forward through the halls, you enter a similar elevator room like earlier in the level. We press the button and the ceiling begins to come down. And there doesn't appear to be a trigger to open a trap door and to get out of this space. And you start to think, wow, I'm done for. Or at least that's what tricky Tim Willits wants you to believe. You make a slow ascent. The depth of this vertical ride is pretty epic, building anticipation for the final monster encounter ahead. Once we get to the top, you are treated to seeing the purple clouded sky, something we haven't seen at all throughout this underground necropolis. We also see a familiar exit archway with its bones and skin tapestries decorating it. But that's not all. In front of it are two fiends patrolling, and they come charging right at you. Looking around the room, you have some cover options, and the space is quite open, giving you room to dance with them. Really, it comes down to testing your skill in handling these fiends. This skill check comes in handy as the fiends become a regularly occurring enemy type in upcoming levels. Feels like a proper mini-boss fight. As a side note, this ending is much more difficult on hard mode. After defeating the two fiends, two more spawn in to ambush you. Once all four fiends are defeated, you then have a shambler spawning in. Good times, really. Of course, there are two options outside of fighting them. You could just run for it and make it to the exit, but that's not fun. We gotta kill all the monsters, right? Another option is that if you wait just long enough, this elevator will descend down again. And if you lead these fiends around, you can actually use it to your advantage. Ow. They will try and make the leap. Oh. It's not working for me. But sometimes they will try and make this leap, and there we go. They'll fall down. Of course, that doesn't kill the fiends, but from here, you just spam them with nades. And that finishes them off easily. With the necropolis behind us, in this final combat encounter 1, we pass through the ominous archway and walk into the darkness. Got the tally screen showcasing the beautiful bridge room. This is like one of my favorite levels of the entire game, to be honest. But after this, we find ourselves in the Grizzly Grotto, which of course will get its own video in the near future. So here's the part where I go over some quick trivia for our featured map. This is the level that gets showcased in the first demo when you load up Quake. It's literally the first thing you are shown of Quake. The main theme song, composed by Nine Inch Nails, just goes off with a mixture of metal guitars and industrial whines as our player, or ranger, opens up things with a grenade launcher that jibs a group of zombies. It perfectly showcases the impact of a true 3D first-person shooter experience. idtech 2, the engine behind Quake, gets a proper showcase that made gamers' jaws drop to the floor. For me personally, this is how I experienced Quake for the first time. It truly felt like the future of gaming. This map presents some challenges in its combat encounters on normal difficulty. On hard mode, this map really amps things up. Things get real spicy. For one, you experience your first shambler here, and not just one, but 3 in total. You'll also have some pretty challenging fights where you have to deal with multiple fiends towards the end, and just when you think it's over, a shambler spawns in and joins in on the fun. Thanks, Tim. Speaking of Tim, this map was originally referred as Tim 4 during development, potentially indicating that this may have been the 4th map that Tim Willits worked on for the game. Just to reiterate from our prior video, Quake's development was troubled with crazy crunch and poor planning in general. We should remind ourselves that this era of creating games was very much a new frontier in regards to technologies and gaming. John Carmack and Michael Abrash toiled over working on the 3D engine itself, and the rest of the team, artists and designers, were hashing out content that they weren't sure was going to make it into the game. In the end, the small team at id Software landed on a 4-episodic level progression. Each episode essentially featured a specific level designer for most of the episode, and Tim Willits owned most of episode 1. I'll probably mention this again in future episodes because I feel it's important to give proper credit to each of the level designers' work. So, what makes E1M3 a great map? Well, the Necropolis just oozes with mood, and the level's overall technical design pushes the capabilities of the idtech 2 engine driving the action of Quake. The different zombie combat encounters throughout are done creatively. Group zombies that jib with one well-placed grenade, or the zombies that rise out of the water. It's just a fun monster to encounter and defeat with a great animation payoff of showering jibs. But all the other monster encounters are properly scaled up in difficulty compared to the prior levels. It teaches the player how to analyze and utilize a 3D space to their advantage, or in some cases make the player a little uncomfortable in a couple of these encounters. Now, in regards to the level design, you have more examples of hallways and spaces layered around each other, providing different path options in some sections. The variety and scale creates some epic feeling moments, moving from tight, narrow hallways into these wide open epic spaces. E1M3 continues to show off what the Quake engine technology can do, and just nails the game's dark and moody atmosphere. It's no wonder why this level is showcased in the intro when you first load up Quake. What are your thoughts on E1M3, the Necropolis? Is there anything I missed, or maybe you just want to share how you deal with some of these enemy encounters? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, share it with friends, and subscribe for more great gaming content. And if you're looking for more, check out this recommended video right here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.